Do you know what time it is? Package time. Oh boy. Some mad lad actually did it and sent me a manga. Just covering anime adaptations isn't good enough for you, is it? Oh, the manga is so much better, you'd have to check it out. Well, apparently I'm going to. So let's start off this weekly manga club with Sword Princess Amaltea. Amaltea. It's in the book. I got to say, I'm pretty thankful that I got the first chapter and not somewhere in the middle. Though I'm not sure if that would have even mattered because the story here is pretty simplistic. Imagine a fairy tale where you have a dashing prince who has to save the princess and marry her. Except change the genders. That's all. That's all. I was astounded at how good it was in the beginning, since the twist of having a princess save the prince from the dragon was a pleasant surprise. Yeah, who needs to download illegal versions of the manga that is professionally photocopied if you can't just take a picture with your phone yourself? They even went through the trouble of explaining how the women got on top, which was because they got the ability to use magic, so sheer brute force didn't cut it anymore, and men were demoted to useless worker bees or maids or whatever. But what annoyed me was that they never really explored it. All it was changing of the roles. Instead of a sleeping princess, you had a sleeping prince. Instead of having thugs harass and sexualize a woman, it's female thugs harassing our prince. Instead of a barmaid, it's a barman, etc. Wait, a barman is already a thing. Well, I meant like a barmaid man. And the one aspect that the book actually seemed unique in, which was the women being able to use magic while the men weren't, never got explored. Not once does anybody in this book use magic. And to be fair, I'm not even sure how they would use it, if it's a normal thing that shoots out of your hands or if you have to gather runes and potions and summon something. So the story goes that our princess has to save a prince from the dragon and marry him because her family demands it so. They have their own evil reasons for doing it, but it's not explained to us. She slays the dragon and rescues him, which is where some drama finally kicks in because, surprise surprise, he doesn't want to go with her. This is a major plot development. In no other fairy tale does the rescuee outright say that they don't want to go with the rescuer. So how do you think they're handling this in the book? They aren't. At the end of the chapter he says that he's not going to marry her. Then the chapter ends, and suddenly he's now with her. That's a pretty major thing to overlook. Like, what happened there? How did she get him to agree with going with her? You can't just skip such a large disagreement and go on like nothing happened. That could have and should have been one of the most important parts in any story, where two characters finally meet for the first time. And after she rescues him, they just run into one trouble after another. Being ambushed, getting stolen from, etc. And of course she has to rescue the prince afterwards again. I wouldn't even mind it that much if the characters were cool, but they aren't. They're very dislikable. Both of them are selfish, arrogant, and pretty dumb. And it's not like the characters themselves are even interesting. They're just a walking bunch of classic tropes. What good can I even say about this, really? The drawings are pretty okay. Look for yourself, I guess. And the overall thought behind it was cool. But yeah, not that well executed. Although I feel like the demographic for this book is also young children, because it was very simplistic. It was easy to read, and while it was dumb, it was more like dumb fun at points. So I can see it being interesting for the younger audience who would also be more into the classical Disney books like The Sleeping Beauty, etc. that don't need much brain power. But that's all for today, and tomorrow I'm going to be reviewing another anime. I bet you guys can't guess what it's gonna be. Guess you gotta come back tomorrow and find out. I'm not actually trying to be this ecstatic for the camera, I'm just moving a lot to keep myself warm because it's gotten even colder. Bye.